What's good, YouTube, man? This is your guy, Manny, and I got my main man, my sidekick, Zeke, with me in the building. So, we're going to talk some Week 4 fantasy football starts and sits. I tried to do this video for you guys yesterday. This is going to be a super short stream. So, hey, if you can't catch it live, catch it on the flip side. I got my boy, Hawk, in the building. What's good? Got my guy, the legendary Grant, in the building. Was good. They say, man, hey, Zeke, they saying what's up, man. They saying what's up. All right, so tons of injuries. Kerry Kittles is hurt right now. I said Kerry Kittles. George Kittle. George Kittle is hurt right now, and we don't know if George Kittle is going to play or not. So you want to have a backup plan. Gronkowski is out. Christian McCaffrey is out, obviously. Chuba Hubbard was the top pick this week in the waivers in terms of running back. So I would say started with confidence. Chuba Hubbard is playing Dallas. And that can be a shootout. That can be a game where there's a lot of passing going on. Another guy that I love this week out of Carolina is Terence Marshall. I think that Terence Marshall is going to be good this game. But then again, I could be wrong. Just NBA's on the brain. Absolutely, man. The league is almost here. I'm excited for it. Legendary Grant says, Rams winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm calling it now. It could happen. It could happen. You guys have a legit guy in Matt Stafford who possibly could be MVP. He possibly could be MVP. I mean, look at Cooper Kupp. He's doing this thing. I think this is the week that Robert Woods steps up and does something because he hasn't done anything all year. So Robert Woods steps up this coming week. Isn't that right? So, yeah, Robert Woods steps up big, and Rams do have a legit chance of winning the Super Bowl. Wait. Yeah, he's sad, y'all. Sorry about that. Just give me one more moment to kind of calm him down. All right, I got him calm. Got to get some dinosaurs for him. He loves his dinosaur. So he says, off topic, but do you think that Kyrie and Wiggins are being selfish? No, I don't think that they're being selfish. You know, everybody has their reason. I think everybody has their reasons for the vaccine. I mean, it's a personal choice. If you don't want to take the vaccine, nobody can make you take the vaccine, but you got to live with the repercussions. So, you know, whether it's vaccine, whether it's not the vaccine, you do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I see it. But back to getting on topic, man. Dalton Schultz for the Dallas Cowboys. I like him this week, even moving forward. I think he has a chance to be a top 12 tight end this year. I was telling everybody it was Dalton Schultz and not Blake Jarwin, and now people are starting to see that I was right with my predictions. So Dalton Schultz this week versus the Panthers. Tough matchup, but he's a guy that you want to go ahead and scoop, have on your team, just in case he blows up. At least you'll have him on your squad. We move on to the Colts versus Dolphins game. I love Jalen Waddle in PPR. Jalen Waddle is a PPR monster right now. He's getting all the receptions. So Jalen Waddle is a guy that I'm starting pretty much everywhere. Myles Gaskins, man, sit him. Jalen Waddle, start him. Start Will Fuller. And then if you're like in a deep league and you just need another wide receiver, then I guess you start Devontae Parker. Moving on along. Who else we got on the list? We got Michael Pittman. With Michael Pittman, he gave you a good week 2, decent week 3. Week 4 is up in the air. If you need a wide receiver, you go ahead and play him. If not, leave him on your bench. We go ahead and we move on to the Lions versus the Bears game. Allen Robinson has given us nothing. He's given us nothing. I don't even know why he's still on my squad. But you keep on hoping for a game. Now, if Andy Dalton plays or even Nick Foles play, then I like Allen Robinson a lot this week. If it's back to Justin Fields, then I really don't know how to feel about it because it seems like Justin Fields is not quite ready yet for the NFL. So I don't trust Justin Fields. If Justin Fields is playing, then I don't feel good about Allen Robinson. But if any other quarterback play, then I feel okay about Allen Robinson. In terms of the Lions, Jamal Williams, he was the guy that was dropped in one of my leagues. I went in and put in my claim. Hopefully I do get him. Jamal Williams is like the RB15 right now so far in fantasy football. He's the perfect complement to Swift. Both guys are going to be, catching the ball, running the ball, scoring. He has 2 touchdowns on the season already, so I like Jamal Williams a lot. I don't like any other pass catchers for the Lions that's not Jamal Williams, Swift, or Hockenson. Moving on along to the Saints versus Giants game. I understand that Shepard is out and Slayton is out. I'm still not going to start a Kenny Golladay. You know why? Kenny Golladay has to go against Marshawn Lattimore, and Marshawn Lattimore is a stud. We all know that he's a stud. So, yeah, I'm not starting Kenny Golladay this week. In terms of Giants players, skill position players, Saquon Barkley, that's about it. I'm not messing with Daniel Jones. I'm not messing with any other wide receiver. But if you are desperate for a wide receiver, then you go ahead and you start at Kenny Golladay. That's how I feel about it. Now, in terms of the Saints, people were asking me, do you start Marquez Callaway this week? Callaway is a decent start if you don't have anybody else, but I'm not really going to mess with Callaway this week. That's just me. In terms of the Saints skill position players, obviously Kamara, you start him. Jameis Winston, you start him if you need a second quarterback if you're playing in a super flex league. But in a one quarterback league, there's no scenario where Jameis Winston is a top 12 quarterback this week. I'm not starting Jameis Winston this week if I'm in a one quarterback league. Moving on along, you got the Houston Texans versus the Buffalo Bills. In that game, you don't start anybody from the Texans except of Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks he's just playing out of his mind right now. He's always solid. That's the only guy that I would trust out of the Texans. I'm not messing with that backfield. That backfield is very, very muddy. In terms of the Buffalo Bills, obviously you started Josh Allen. Zach Moss and Singletary, both guys have a chance to produce. Granted, Zach Moss has 3 touchdowns to Devin Singletary's 1 touchdown. But if push comes to shove, you can start either one of these guys and they can possibly produce you some stats. You don't know who's going to be the guy. Just know that both guys are going to be able to get the ball. But a lot of people are liking Zach Moss a little bit more just because he has more upside, especially in the receiving game. But when you look at the stats this year, Singletary is better at running the ball. He has 180 yards rushing to Zach Moss 86 yards. So, take it with a grain of salt. Take whichever running back that you want out of this Buffalo backfield, but just know that they're going to be destroying the Texans. So that means tons of opportunity to run the ball and run the clock out. So I'm rocking with Singletary this week, and I'm rocking with Zach Moss in another league. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. What is going on with Miles Sanders? Why is it that Miles Sanders continues to be disrespected by his coach? Miles Sanders has 2 carries? He had 2 carries last game? So this game versus the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be a lot of receptions going to either Miles Sanders or Kenneth Gainwell. I don't know which of the running backs are going to eat this week in terms of receiving the ball. It might even be Boston Scott. So with the Eagles' backfields, just play them if you have no other choice. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to kill this week. I see him getting a lot of receptions to all of his pass catchers. If I have to choose a wide receiver, I got to go Devonta Smith. Outside of Devonta Smith, I don't really trust any other wide receiver for the Eagles. Now, when you talk tight end, I do like Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz this week. I just don't know which of the two are going to play really, really well. Little man is getting tired, which is good for me. While I knock out the rest of the stream, put him to sleep. All right, so moving on along with our list. You got the Titans versus the Jets, right? Now, in this game, there's no Julio. There's no A.J. Brown. So what do? You go ahead and you pick up Westbrook, Nick Westbrook. Can't think of his last name right now. Breaking news: the Patriots have placed James White on IR with season-ending hip injury. Okay, we already know about the James White injury, but yeah, you pick up Nick Westbrook. Can't think of his last name right now. It starts with an I. He has like a hyphenated name, but yeah, I think it's Nick Westbrook and kind, something like that. Go scoop him if you're in a deep league and you're searching for wide receivers, especially in one league that I'm in. This guy has A.J. Brown and Julio because he's a Titans fan. It's crazy. Sometimes it's crazy to double up on one team. So, yeah, the Titans passing game, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that Tannehill is going to be able to spread the ball. But I am starting Nick Westbrook and kind pretty much everywhere where I need desperation flex play. In terms of the Jets skill players, I'm not starting any of them. Maybe a Jamison Crowder if he's fully healthy. Now, this could be a revenge game for a guy like Corey Davis. Obviously, he wants to show the Titans like, yo, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? Y'all messed up by not signing me. I'm that dude. So Corey Davis had a good week 1, but outside of that, we haven't seen him. I'm still looking for Corey Davis as we speak. We move on to the Washington football versus the Atlanta Falcons game. Being a big Washington football fan, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the Falcons are gonna destroy the Washington football team in terms of the football team defending defensively. Whether the Falcons win this game or not, I don't know. But one thing I can say is that the Washington football team's defense is playing bad right now. That guys like Calvin Ridley is gonna go off. Kyle Pitts is gonna go off. And then Cordero Patterson is a sneaky flex play. Right now, he's RB15 or RB16 in fantasy. He might even be higher. He might even be like RB12 or something. But either way it goes, Cordero Patterson is having a pretty good season, especially after week 2. So pretty much any skill player you want to play that's on that is on the Falcons, you play them all. Play them all. Why not play a Kyle Pitts? He has 11 receptions for 139 yards so far this year. He might score. The middle of that defense is just wide open with guys like Bostic defending. So the Falcons could have a big day. They definitely could. In PPR, obviously, Cordero Patterson. With Mike Davis, he's a wild card. He has potential to receive the ball, to catch the ball. He does have 14 receptions to Cordero Patterson's 13, but it's just that Cordero Patterson gets more yards. He gets more yards. He's averaging 16 points a game fantasy-wise, and Mike Davis 11.5 points a game. So it's up to you to decide which guy you want to go with. Hey, what's good? What's good, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream, man. Appreciate you, bro. Just talking a little fantasy football, man, before I head on home from work. But yeah, Washington football team. Obviously, Terry McLaurin is going to have a big game. Logan Thomas, big game. Antonio Gibson has some injury concerns. They're saying that Antonio Gibson might not play this week. So you want to go ahead and stash a Jared Patterson now just in case. And if Antonio Gibson doesn't play, J.D. McKissic is going to be a great flex play. But also, don't sleep on Jared Patterson, especially if the Falcons' defense is as bad as I think they're going to be. Now, moving on to the next game to discuss. That's the Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Rams. Everybody's saying the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. Like my boy Grant just said, they possibly could go to the Super Bowl this year. But we're not here to talk about Super Bowls or not. We're here to talk about Robert Woods. At the beginning of the stream, I told you guys Robert Woods is playing so bad right now. He's only averaging 10 points a game. And that's terrible for a receiver of his caliber. He has, 11 receptions this year for 124 yards in 3 games? That's terrible. So look for Robert Woods to have a breakout game come this Sunday. It's time. Him and Cooper Kupp should have good weeks. Cardinals, their defense is okay, and this game could possibly turn into a shootout. But look out for the matchup of Hopkins versus Jalen Ramsey. Everybody's talking about Hopkins going off, but we have to remember he's going against Jalen Ramsey. But Hopkins, look, he'll go off on any corner, but just know it's going to be a tough matchup. My boy A-Lot says JD will be a must play if Gibby can't go. Yeah, JD will be a must play, but I also like Jared Patterson a lot. For some reason, I just like Jared Patterson as a complete runner, and now he's starting to get more opportunities in the passing game. So it could be a 50-50 split between Jared and JD, but obviously JD is going to be very much involved, and he's going to get more carries than normal. Remember last year when Gibson went down, JD had a lot of carries, but he didn't do much with it. And then we also had Peyton Barber take away some of those carries as well. So we should see what happens there. What's good, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream, man. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. It says, should I trade Tariq Hill, Chase Edmonds, and Marvin Jones for Mike Evans, Antonio Gibson, and Robert Woods? The answer to this is easy. It's a no. But I understand. I really understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to get two wide receivers that can possibly be in the top 15 in Mike Evans and Robert Woods. I get that. Those two guys should equal up to the production of Tariq Hill on his best day, right? Then now you go to Chase Edmonds, who's been okay, about 12 or 14 points a game. Marvin Jones has been up and down, but you have to remember DJ Chark is now out for the season, so Marvin Jones' stock goes up. Now, Antonio Gibson definitely has a lot of upside, but he's been underwhelming this year. So I would say the trade is pretty even. It's pretty even. If you are lacking in talent, I mean, obviously getting Mike Evans, Antonio Gibson, and Robert Woods is better than having Tariq Hill and Chase Edmonds and Marvin Jones. So yeah, you should do the deal if you need to do the deal. If you don't need to do the deal, then I would say stand pat. Be easy, man. What's good, man? What's good? What's good? Got my guy Aaron Reborn. What's good, man? I appreciate you guys for hopping on the stream. Please like, please subscribe if you're new, and please share. It says right now in my flex, I have Marvin Jones. Do you think I should go after someone else? If so, who? Marvin Jones should be really good the rest of the way, especially with DJ Chark out for the season. He says he's out for the season. He says, Cap, did you not see the injury? I think they said he was out for the season. I have to go back and look at it. Let me try to find you guys some information. I saw some information yesterday. It was talking about that the DJ Chark injury is serious. Yeah, I've even dropped the DJ Chark in a few leagues. Okay, so here is, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Here's what I have, and you let me know if I'm tripping. Home tab. So here's the reports I saw yesterday. It says DJ Chark suffered a fractured ankle, out indefinitely. My bad, not out for the season, but indefinitely. I don't think he's coming back this year. But here's what this guy says. It says the range of possibilities on this injury can be as quick as 6 weeks, and then as long as season ending, depending on the location of the severity of the injury. So this guy right here, Jesse Morris, he's pretty good. I follow him a lot when it comes to injury. So it can be anywhere from 6 weeks to the entire season. So yeah, technically, my guess would be for the season. I don't really, and then DJ Chark wasn't really even doing much this season anyway. So take it with a grain of salt. Maybe DJ Chark comes back after 6 weeks. But as of right now, the wide receiver to own in the Jacksonville's wide receiver room is Laviska Shenault. If you can go ahead and trade for Laviska Shenault, you do it now. I'm telling you, this guy is going to command a lot of targets. And in PPR, I mean, you're talking about 18 to 25 points every single week. We saw how Trevor Lawrence looked this way. So Laviska right now is the number one wide receiver in Jacksonville, followed by Marvin Jones. And these two guys are going to get all the targets at least for the next 6 weeks. They just say he's out for 6 weeks. But when you're talking about an ankle, I mean, could be dangerous. It's a fractured ankle. So fractures it's not a sprain. So that's why I said season ending. But hey, What do I know? I'm not a doctor. But Christian Kirk is going to be a good flex starter this week in PPR. You want to go ahead and snatch him up if he's out there in the waiver wire. You want to go ahead and start him if you need flex play. He's averaging 17 points a game. That's pretty solid for the number 3 wide receiver on the Cardinals. Everybody's saying DeAndre Hopkins, but if Hopkins is being covered by Jalen Ramsey, that opens up the door for a Christian Kirk to go off this week. Every week, you don't know what receiver is going to go off. You have Rondale Moore, who's averaging 12.5 points. You have A.J. Green, who's averaging 11.4 points. Then, obviously, you have Hopkins. You always start Hopkins if you have a Hopkins. But if you had to ask me, outside of Hopkins, who would I start this week? I will start DJ Chark, then maybe Rondale Moore, then A.J. Green. I think A.J. Green is going to be on the outside. So, depending on where Jalen Ramsey is lining up, the outsides will be locked up. If you want success against the Rams, it's going to be through the slot, through the middle. And look out for the tight end, Max Williams. If you're playing in a league where you need some tight end play, Max Williams could be a good streaming option this week. Be Easy says, should Chenault be top weight? Absolutely. I already put in my claim after Thursday night. I saw all I needed to see. And I was mad because in 2 particular leagues, I had a chance to get Laviska Shenault, and I waited a week too late. And now he's going to be the top waiver priority if he's even available. So, yeah, most definitely. So my team is Jalen Hurts, Kareem Hunt, James Robinson, Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Marvin Jones, Kelsey, Bills defense, Boswell. What trade or things should I do to improve this team? Look, your team is as solid as it comes. So let's dissect this thing just a little bit deeper. So your wide receivers is Devontae Adams and Mike Williams. These are 2 guys that are going off every single week, right? So you're solid there. Maybe you can get a upgrade over Marvin Jones. So if you can improve somewhere, it could be Marvin Jones. Maybe you trade Marvin Jones for a guy like Allen Robinson right now, or you trade Marvin Jones for a struggling Robert Woods right now before the game happens on Sunday. You can tell him, hey, Marvin Jones is going to be the number 2 guy. Hey, so you never know. So you want to trade for a proven commodity, or you want to look at the waiver wire and see if is there any wide receiver with upside that I can add to this group for depth, because your top 2 guys are solid with Devontae Adams and Mike Williams. That's just my opinion. Now, with the running back situation, James Robinson is coming into his own. That's 2 solid weeks back to back. That's what we all want. Kareem Hunt is going to give you RB2 appeal all season because of PPR format. Now, you do possibly need another running back because I don't see any other running back. So you possibly do need another running back right now to complement James Robinson and Kareem Hunt. So I don't know what your bench looks like. If your bench is not good, if you don't have depth on the bench, you want to go ahead and look into free agency. Maybe handcuff some guys. What I like to do is I like to handcuff my guys before the games are played, because what happens is people get hurt all the time. And if people get hurt, guess what? You got yourself an RB1 or RB2. I did it with Chuba Hubbard, scooped him right before the game. I did it with Alexander Madison right before the game. And then what do you know? I had 2 running backs that I can plug into my RB2 position or even flex to give me some points. So definitely look into that. Look for guys that are coming off of injuries right now, like Curtis Samuel. He might be available right now. Rashard Bateman, he might be available. Terence Marshall is a wide receiver that I'm big on this week versus the Dallas Cowboys. So there's tons of guys that you can grab right now for free that are available in free agency. We're not even talking about the waiver wire. It says my bench, I have Cordero Patterson, solid. Daniel Jones, solid. Jacoby Myers, Sterling Shepard. I like Shepard a lot. Jacoby Myers, you can possibly upgrade there, but he had a good game last week. Says, who should I put in my flex, or should I make a trade? You should possibly try to make a trade, but, your team is solid. With the squad that you showed me, it's looking like a top 3, top 4 team in your league that can compete for the playoffs. I would say play the waiver wire, but if you can package maybe a Sterling Shepard and Jacoby Myers to get a improved wide receiver, you do it. There might be some RB needy teams out there. I would say keep every running back that you have right now on your roster, because you don't have running backs to trade. But if you can trade a receiver or 2, or maybe Daniel Jones for a lesser running back or another wide receiver, you do it. But other than that, the team is solid. We move on to the Seattle Seahawks game versus the San Francisco 49ers. There's reports that George Kittle might not play this week. And if George Kittle does not play, then there's a scenario where what do you do if George Kittle doesn't play? There should be some tight ends available like Conklin or Gesicki, Schultz. People don't really care about rostering two tight ends. So there should be somebody on your waiver wire. But let's say, for example, that all the tight ends are gone, and you want to go ahead and rock with Dwelly. Dwelly is Kittle's backup. So you got to have a backup plan for George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk should go off this week. You're playing Seattle. Seattle, everybody that plays Seattle, even from last year, just seems to be a game that's a shootout. So look for Brandon Ayuk to have a good game, especially if George Kittle is out. Look for Deebo Samuel. So when you look at the 49ers, they have three guys, the three main catchers. Ayuk has been bad this year, but he turned the corner last week by scoring a touchdown. I believe he had like 13 fantasy points. Now, Deebo Samuel is a must start every single week. If George Kittle plays, he has potential to have a good game this week. So fingers crossed on George Kittle. In terms of the running backs, look, I'm not fooling with Trey Sermon. Get rid of Trey Sermon if you can. Trade Trey Sermon, especially if you're playing redraft. He is useless right now. He's useless right now. He's not doing anything. And then Elijah Mitchell might be back this week. So it's just a lot going on. And then Kyle Juszczyk, who's fullback, is possibly way better than Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon is just not ready right now. I'm not saying that he's going to be a terrible player in the league. He is just not ready right now. Aaron says, I also have Allen Robinson. Solid. Yeah, okay. I mean, you rock with Allen Robinson until he starts to ball out. And then Robinson is a name. For example, I try to trade Allen Robinson and Sterling Shepard combined for a DJ Moore. I don't think the guy would have been interested, but who knows? The guy might be interested. I mean, Allen Robinson is a big name, and if you're going to trade him, try to trade him now. Or if he has a big game Sunday, you sell high. You sell high, meaning that you get something of equal value or better. That's what I mean by when I say sell high. Be Easy says, what do you do with Allen Robinson? Trade? I just talked about it. Allen Robinson, I would trade him if I can. If he has a good game, I sell high. Like, I'm trying to get rid of Allen Robinson right now. I don't trust Fields. I don't trust any quarterback in Chicago right now. Matter of fact, I don't trust Matt Nagy right now. So Allen Robinson for me is a sell. It's a sell high, sell low, just sell. But if I can't sell for a decent value, then guess what? I keep an Allen Robinson, and I keep it moving. So we move on to the Baltimore Ravens versus Denver Broncos game. You look at this game and you look at Teddy Bridgewater versus the Ravens defense. I'm not playing him unless it's a two quarterback league. Then you look at the pass catchers, Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton. One of those guys should go off. I don't know which of those guys goes off for somebody. Teddy has to throw the ball to somebody. And then obviously you have Noah Fant. So in a particular league, I have Noah Fant and Sutton. I have Sutton starting in a couple leagues this week. So I'm hoping and I'm banking on one of those guys going off for me. I don't see the Broncos scoring more than 21 points. That's just my opinion. You got Hollywood Brown. You got Rashad Bateman, which is coming back this week. I don't know what to think about the pass catchers. Sammy Watkins has disappeared after a decent week one. So it's Hollywood Brown right now. He's having a good season. He has, 15 catches, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns in 3 games. That's solid. He's averaging a nice 17 points a game in fantasy right now, and that's great for Hollywood Brown. So Hollywood Brown, he's starting to turn into a must start. And, you kind of look at what teams have done versus Denver. You know what I'm saying? You see guys like Sterling Shepard and Marvin Jones. Those guys were able to score on the Denver Broncos. I almost said Nuggets, man. It's almost NBA season. I'm just ready for the NBA, honestly. Let me see. It says, with my players, what should I give up for Hopkins? Hopkins is expensive. I mean, if you want a Hopkins, you'll have to do it. Allen Robinson and Marvin Jones. But if I'm a Hopkins owner, I'm not doing that. So I would say a realistic trade for you is trade Mike Williams now that his value so high. Mike Williams and maybe a Sterling Shepard should get you a Hopkins. Mike Williams and any of your lower tier wide receivers should get you Hopkins. That's what I would do if I were you, if you want to grab Hopkins. It's going to cost you. Says Hamler going to go off. Isn't Hamler hurt? I haven't really heard much about Hamler this season. Hamler should go off. I mean, he is available. I just haven't really seen much of him ever since Jerry Jeudy went down. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hamler is hurt right now. Could be wrong. I really could be wrong. That's just one of those teams that I really don't pay too much attention to. So now we move on to the Green Bay versus Steelers game. We all know that every pass catcher for the Pittsburgh Steelers were going through it. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody plays this week, including Chase Claypool. Deontay Johnson is healthy. He's active. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's active. So really don't even know who out of the three is going to outperform who. But I know that Deontay Johnson is the guy. He's the guy to start. He's the guy to own. Everything else after that, good luck. You know, Chase Claypool had a great season last year. 9 touchdowns this year, 0 touchdowns so far, 15 receptions for 211 yards. He's averaging 12.9 points a game in fantasy. So I really don't know what to say about him. DMV Sports Zone, what's good, my brother, man? We talking some fantasy football, man. You know how we do it, man. Says, do I trade Robert Woods for Laviska Shenault? Yes, you do it. You do it today. You do it today because the reason why I say you do it today is because what if Robert Woods goes off on Sunday? Then it's kind of like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the guy that has Laviska has already played. So you might have, I don't know. But, I mean, I would. Like, matter of fact, this is a trade that I was actually trying to do. A guy in my league, he has Shenault, right? I have Robert Woods. It is a dynasty league. So I'm going to try to fleece him just because I traded a first-round pick to get Robert Woods in my dynasty league. So now I'm going to try to trade him Robert Woods for Shenault in a second. And if he does it, I take it. I take it and I run with it. So, yeah, definitely that's definitely a trade that I would make, honestly. Yeah, Robert Woods for Shenault, I'm making that trade all day long. Thanks for the idea. I think I got Robert Woods in 3 leagues actually, and I'm going to try to trade him in 2 to get Shenault. Now, back to Pittsburgh Steelers. The only guy I trust out of that whole team this week is Najee Harris, who had 19 targets last week. 19 targets. He caught 14 of them for 104 yards. Najee Harris is a phenomenon right now. The guy is just amazing. And as far as Green Bay, obviously Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Outside of that, Devontae Adams. Outside of those 3 guys, good luck. I'm not messing with anybody else from that team. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New England Patriots. It's the revenge game for Tom Brady, and I'm looking for Tom Brady to do something wild, to do something crazy. But before I get to that, I'm going to get to this question. It says, I need to replace the Green Bay defense. Who's out there on waiver wire? It all depends. We all trusted the Bengals defense, and the Bengals defense was ultra trash. They were ultra trash yesterday. With defenses, man, my advice is don't think too much about it. Just play somebody, because sometimes it's the guys that you think won't play well end up playing well. So Green Bay is playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Ben Roethlisberger has been kind of iffy. So who knows? Green Bay might ball out for you. I don't know. When it comes to defenses, like I said, different things can happen. Somebody can return a punt or return the kickoff, and that changes the whole point system because you get, points as a DST, just not defense and special teams. So I'm going to get to the defense in a while, in just a little bit to kind of see who's a good play this week. But I know for a fact, if you can get a Tampa Bay defense, you grab them. But Tampa Bay is probably gone. He says Tennessee DST. Absolutely. Nobody's messing with Tennessee right now because they've been so bad, but they're playing the Jets, the lowly Jets. So anybody that the Jets play, you want to go ahead and look ahead and kind of stack defenses up versus the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Jets. All these rookie quarterbacks, you might want to start that defense. TS, man, what's good, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. Please like, please subscribe, please share. It says Julio is out for me. I have Pittman Jr., Juju, Hollywood, PPR. I can pick up Tim Patrick, Winfro, Emmanuel Sanders. So are you asking me who to start in place of Julio, or do you need two guys? Because, like, you have multiple startable guys, to be honest. Like, if I'm you, I'm starting either Hollywood or Juju Smith-Schuster for sure. For sure. Those two guys are possible must-starts. But if I had to pick one out of all the names that you gave me in terms of replacing Julio, I would go Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown seems to be the favorite target for Lamar Jackson. He's averaging 17 points a game. So, yeah, I would take those 17 points over going for a guy like Pittman, who's kind of like up and down. You don't know if Wentz is, Wentz, I don't know what's going on. So you say pick one. If I'm picking one, I'm picking Hollywood Brown. That's who I'm rocking with. It says LaVisca over Marvin. Yes. Go and look at the target share. LaVisca out-targeted Marvin. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. So that way it won't be like I'm just talking. Let's go to the game. Hopefully, I'm going to use NFL. I like to use ESPN because ESPN shows the targets, but let me see. Let me pull this thing up for you. But, yeah, man, LaVisca's that dude. LaVisca's going to be the number one wide receiver for the Jags moving forward, and I like it. I like it because he runs all the routes. He runs every route you want to see. So, intermediate, he can do it. The deep route, he can do it. He caught a 44-yard catch. He caught a lot of, little intermediate type stuff, a lot of, chain moving type stuff. So, yeah, LaVisca all the way. He's going to be targeted. Like now that DJ Chark is gone, you're talking about 10 to 15 targets a game because you have to realize the Jags are so bad, right, that they have to pass the ball in order to come back. Right. So that's just, plenty of targets. So LaVisca had 7 targets. He caught 6 of them for 99 yards. 7 targets isn't bad, but you have to look at it this way. Trevor Lawrence threw the ball 24 times. And out of the 24 times he threw the ball, 7 went to LaVisca. You look at Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones had 3 targets, and he caught 3 receptions. So, I mean, when you're talking about targets, LaVisca, man. He's going to eat. And he actually catches the ball, and he does a lot of things pretty well. He says, I also have Chuba and Hunt for flex. Ooh, that's a good one. I'll go Kareem Hunt because at least with Kareem Hunt, we know who Kareem Hunt is. You know what I'm saying? So I will go Kareem Hunt over Chuba Hubbard. All right. You say it's one game. All right, let's do this. I'm going to come back and do a show. I guess it'll be after week 5. Going on week 6, we're going to revisit the LaVisca versus Marvin Jones debate. Right now, I think it's LaVisca. Everybody that's in the dynasty world, you go LaVisca because he's younger. But, I mean, from what I saw yesterday, LaVisca. I know it's one game, but I'm going LaVisca over Marvin Jones. Since Marvin Jones has more targets in the season so far. I respect it. But from what I saw yesterday, I know it's one game, and the Bengals have a decent defense. And the thing that I like about LaVisca is that he can be lined up everywhere, outside. He runs. Matter of fact, I think LaVisca had a Russian attempt. Oh, he also had 1 carry for 11 yards. So I know it's just 1 carry, but when you have a guy that's gonna get some carries, it just bodes well. Also, LaVisca's a guy that they can hand the ball off to in the goal line situation. LaVisca's a guy that he's a Swiss Army knife. He reminds me a lot of Deebo Samuel. So he's going to be used in the way that Deebo Samuel is used. So if you're talking about who gets more receptions or who gets more targets, yes, it's Marvin Jones right now. But quarterbacks love their slot wide receivers. Quarterbacks love tight ends. So, but we're going to revisit this after week 5. So we can kind of see, who had the better game. And then moving forward, I mean, look, we'll talk about Laviska and Marvin Jones every show if we have to, every show to kind of see who's doing better, who's doing what as the season progresses. But back to the Bucks and Patriots game. Damien Harris, you want to sit him this week? He started out the season pretty good. He's kind of cooled off. He's averaging 9.5 points a game in PPR right now, which isn't great, and it's also not bad as well. Jacoby Myers he's a sneaky PPR play because Mac Jones throws these short passes, and it just fits what Jacoby Myers likes to do. But you're playing against Tampa Bay. They have a good defense, but they're missing some of their top corners. So we'll see how that impacts this game for the Patriots. For the Patriots. So we'll see. I think that the Bucs are going to give Mac Jones everything that he's never seen before. At the same time, Belichick is going to try to put together a game plan. This game is really Tom Brady versus Belichick. It's really what it is. But Jacoby Myers, he's averaging 12.2 points a game PPR. Start every single Bucs wide receiver you want to start. I think they all eat, especially with Gronkowski missing the game. You're going to have AB, you're going to have Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. All good options. Tom Brady, I'm looking for a 3 to 4 touchdown game out of him. I think he's going to want to show the Patriots like, yo, I still got it. And there's rumors that Belichick pushed Tom Brady out, but we're definitely going to see how that game goes. It's definitely a game that I'm looking forward to watching. We move on to the Raiders versus the Chargers game. And Derek Carr has been amazing this season. He's actually playing like an MVP type guy. He leads the NFL in passing yards. The touchdowns will start to come. He has 1,200 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But I see a 3-touchdown game this week versus the Chargers. This is a interconference matchup, and these matchups are very important. It's a late slate. It's a Monday night slate. So for those of you guys that have Josh Jacobs, we don't know if he's playing, if he's not playing. He has practiced well this week. So with Josh Jacobs, you want to go ahead and have a Peyton Barber or who's the other guy? His name is Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake, the overpaid backup, the highest paid backup in the league. So you want to have one of those two guys if you're going to rely on starting a Jacobs, just in case he's out Monday night. You don't want to be out there scrambling, looking for who to play. So just have a plan just in case Josh Jacobs can't go. But in terms of the pass catchers for the Raiders, I like Edwards this week. I like Winfrey. In terms of Ruggs, I don't know. It's going to be between Ruggs and Edwards. One of those two guys go off, and then for sure, you have Winfrey. Obviously, Waller is going to do his thing. I'm expecting a big game out of Waller this week. Should be a great matchup. Justin Herbert is about to tear it up. He has a great complement of wide receivers, but don't sleep on this Vegas Raiders defense. I'm looking forward to the game. I think that Mike Williams has a regression game. He might not go off this week. It might be more of a Keenan Allen game and a Austin Eckler. But yeah, man, that's about all I got for you guys. I'm going to stick around for about 5 more minutes in case you guys have any more questions or comments you guys want answered. Do I start Christian Kirk or AB at the flex? Give me Christian Kirk twice on Sundays. I'm going Christian Kirk over AB just for the simple fact that I know who Kyler Murray is targeting. He's targeting Christian Kirk a lot. Now, AB could have he wasn't out there last week, so he's due for a big game. So it's kind of a toss-up, but who do I trust more? I trust Christian Kirk more than I trust AB this week versus the New England Patriots. So give me Christian Kirk. Anybody got anything else before I log off? This week's going to be a good week, man. I'm excited for it. Week 4. If you guys have teams that are 0-3 right now, just hang in there. Hang in there. Just try to get a win. The goal, if you're 0-3, is to get to 2-3 after week 5. And you'll be in good shape. Make a trade or two, but don't fire sell your team. If you have a team that has like the Allen Robinsons and the Robert Woods and the Saquon Barkleys, these injury-prone guys, or the guys that are not producing right now, you want to go ahead and try to trade those guys for equal value. So when I say equal value, we know that Robert Woods is supposed to be a wide receiver that's supposed to produce at least 15 points a game, 15 to 17 points a game, right? If you're going to trade a Robert Woods, trade a Robert Woods for a Christian Kirk and, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're getting something else back. If you don't trust, a lot of guys are big on Mike Williams right now. Mike Williams is having a great season. I don't think he keeps this pace going the entire season. I think he's going to decline, and when he declines, it's going to be rough. Now, if you're tired of a Robert Woods or if you're tired of a, Allen Robinson, you trade one of those guys for Mike Williams. And then, who knows, maybe do a 2-for-2. Robert Woods and a running back for, Mike Williams and a running back, but then make sure that the running back that you're getting back is better than the running back that you're giving away. That way you at least, okay, if Mike Williams does flop at some point in the season, maybe he doesn't, then at least you won on the running back side. So try to do a 2-for-2. Don't try to do too much. I almost did something crazy. I'm in a league where I have Tariq Hill and Keenan Allen, and I have James Robinson. And look, honestly, after week 2, I was like, man, James Robinson is not doing anything. And I tried to trade James Robinson for Terry McLaurin, which I feel is a fair trade. But the problem was, had I traded James Robinson away, I would have been left with Nyheim Hines and McKissick as my running back. So I'm glad I waited till Thursday night. But if he didn't play well Thursday night, he was off my team because in that league, I'm 0-3, but I have a really, really, really good team. Sometimes, like I have Tariq Hill and Kelsey. I have Keenan Allen. I have Nyheim Hines. I have Matthew Stafford. I have a really good team, but I'm 0-3. Sometimes you just have to weather the storm. You got to try hard to get that win in week 4 and start the year 1-3, then 0-4. Because 0-4 for me most likely means 0-5. So I'm just trying to get that one win, and I'm trying to do it patiently. So it says trade Jalen, Miles, and AB for JT and Stafford. That's a tough one. I see why you would want to make that deal. I mean, I can honestly see why you would want to make that deal because Jalen Hurts is going to have good games, bad games, but he does have that rushing upside. Matthew Stafford is going to have really good games, and he's really hot right now, especially with passing the ball. So you're talking about a Matthew Stafford-led offense that he's getting about 3 touchdowns every single game for the most part because that running game is so bad that Matthew Stafford has to pass for touchdowns. So, okay, I'll give you that. Now, you go to the Miles Sanders and AB for JT. I think JT might not play this week, so keep an eye out on that. JT, he's going to pick up his play as the season goes on. JT is solid. We know who JT is, right? AB and Miles for JT is pretty fair. It's pretty fair. So, yeah, I would do the deal. When I break it down, I see it more. Let's see what Miles Sanders does this week. If he has another week of another 2 carries or 3 carries or like under 15 carries, then yeah, you want to go ahead and get rid of Miles Sanders as soon as possible. Especially if AB blows up this week, yeah, you sell high on AB because so many receivers in Tampa that you really don't know which receiver goes off each week. Says my receivers are Jefferson, CD, and Cup. Yeah, okay. All right, I feel you. Make the trade ASAP, and then that way you can have that stack of Stafford and Cup. Nah, I get it. I fully get it right now. I see why you want to make this deal. Your running backs are Alvin Kamara and Monty, and Monty's been kind of bad because of Nagy and the way that the Bears run their offense. So yeah, great trade. I mean, I will pull that. I will pull the trigger right now. Your receivers are awesome. You get Stafford, awesome wide receiver. Let him have Hurts. And then you get JT to solidify your group. And that's a nice little core. So, guys, man, this is my time, man. This is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. I come on once a week to give you guys starts and sits. I come on once a week to talk about the waiver wire options. I do Washington football stuff. I do NBA stuff. I cover Lakers. So I'm excited that the NBA is coming back. The next stream I do probably tomorrow night will probably be dealing with the Lakers and the NBA stuff. So appreciate you guys. If you're new, please like, please subscribe, please share, and I will catch you guys on the next stream. I'm out. Peace.